Mitsubishi Motors.
The 2007 Dakar, the toughest rally in the world. Live the adventure, only on Supersports. Proudly brought to you by Total Quartz Lubricants.
This is the Dakar, and this is why the event is so huge, but also so difficult. Jutta Kleinschmidt, winner back in 2001. And it wasn't a surprise if many witnessed their first desert nightmares. Stéphane Peter-Ancel, the 8-time Dakar winner, 6 times on a bike, and for the last 2 years in a car.
We always want to win, but there can only be one winner, and I believe the best man won the race, and we must come back to beat him.
Stage 5 of the 2007 Euromillions Dakar. Isidé Estreve had a good final day in Morocco, keeping the bike race tight. Not bump drafting, this is the spirit of the Dakar. Robbie Gordon aiding a fellow competitor. 5-time winner in the last 7 years, Vladimir Chagin strikes trouble. Day 2 in Morocco, and the first taste of the sand dunes and of the flora and fauna that go with them. Stage 4 from Erachidia to Ouarzazate. Before the competitors managed to get to the dunes though, there was a lot of tricky navigation. A bit too much for many, lost in the pampas. Probably the only way of describing this is a nightmare. And it wasn't just getting lost that was the problem. Juan Puig Cote from Spain stuck in his Impala. These are hardly dunes. If he's getting stuck on these, he's going to be in big trouble in Mauritania. The Dakar is often perceived as heading through the middle of nowhere, but no matter how desolate the situation, it seems the locals are always out in force to watch and assist. Bike riders particularly find the locals all too willing to aid them. Simon Jean-Joseph in his distinctive pink buggy rumbling through the dunes. And then finally into some proper sand dunes. And for the privateers, the dramas continue. The spirit of the Dakar is one of the things that brings people back years after years. And stage 4 showed exactly how teammates can really help each other. Portuguese Miguel Barbosa's prototype Nissan got heavily wedged in the sand. Time to get out the shovels. Massive problem with the wheels, we can't get it out by ourselves, he said. We're going to have to wait for somebody to help us.
Não me apercebi, ficamos aqui bloqueados. Vamos ver agora quanto tempo é que demoramos a tirar daqui o carro.
So as they continue what seems like a fruitless task, looking for help. Is that the cavalry on the horizon? No, it's his own teammate, touring car race Ivan Muller, being co-driven by René Metsch, a multiple winner of the event and a man who knows more than most what the Dakar spirit is all about. And how to help. Nobody stopped to help them, said Ivan, so I've got to pull them out. Not a problem he often has in touring car racing. I had to help them out, they're my teammates. And of course the Dassault team celebrating its 25th consecutive Dakar entry with these cars. Hallelujah! Well, Muller finished the stage an hour and 36 minutes behind winner Jean-Louis Schlesser. 3 minutes later, Miguel Barbosa got to the line, and Benoit Rousselot had to change punctures. How long did we take? 9 hours and 23 minutes. We drove a long time, got to the finish line, then I lost my concentration. Right afterwards, I destroyed 2 tyres. Philippe Gache had even more drama. 3 wheels on his wagon. He obviously decided it was quicker to drive out of the stage on 3 than to try and change it inside. Yesterday the riders had their own separate bivouac. It was a marathon stage, no service trucks. They had to work on the bikes themselves with whatever spares they carried. Lord help you if you got a puncture, because there were not even any spare tyres. So everybody had a little bag with a pack meal.
Some oriental shoes, some socks, and a towel. Everything what I need.
Obviously he didn't have any flat tyres. So with teammates to help alone and the tools they carried on the bikes, there wasn't an awful lot of maintenance that could be done. Time to settle down for the leaders and the back markers alike. Aching joints, tired bones, frayed nerves. It was a tough day on the Dakar. The final day in Morocco sees the crews descend from the Atlas Mountains towards the coast, and it's a long day. A 352-kilometre stage, then almost 300 kilometres to the bivouac. By tonight, they'll have covered over 3,000 kilometres of the course. Anybody with major mechanical problems after stage 4 would have been ruled out of the rally instantaneously, with no service in the working Parc Fermé overnight. So those that still got to the start thought they had everything under control, but yesterday Estrella saying his bike doesn't work. Teammate David Castor coming to try and help fix the starter. Checking the fuses. Once you get in the dunes, an electric start can be a real lifesaver in more ways than one. Esteve got underway, and everybody else prepared to start the stage. Yesterday, said Cyril Dupre before the start, I rode for 170 kilometres in the dust, and let me tell you, it was tough. I was careful, that's my motto. There's still a long way to go. No time for anyone to stop and admire the scenery. The majestic Atlas Mountains would see the riders for the final time. 2 steep ascents, and then they headed down on the plain and the long run towards Tantan. Cyril Dupre was the man in front on the stage. Marc Comar, yesterday's winner, had a comfortable enough lead that he could afford to follow the Frenchman. Esteve, after a third and then a second in the last 2 days, claimed his win. Yesterday, though, he lost 12 minutes to Comar. Today, clawing back just under 2. He's now just a shade under 10 minutes behind his arch rival. Even up in the desolate heights of the Atlas Mountains, there were still people waiting. Down on the plain, at the second passage control, time for fueling.
Mucha montaña, muy endurista, pero bueno, importante es que
a lot of stones, a lot of mountains. Como, the important thing is to be here. Let's hope we arrive at Tantan without problems. Vital refueling. The bikes can only go around 250 kilometers, even with their full tanks, and a chance to check the spokes. Tyres by this stage very worn. What I wanted to do this morning was to catch Mark and then have some fun. The stage very technical, pretty difficult, but so far everything is okay, said Esteban. And so on to the final leg of the stage. Dusty, sandy roads, and visibility would soon become a problem. This is Frenchman Gilles Alzey. Very tough, he says. So much dust. Very hard to see the others. I can't stay too close behind them. When these conditions, even on metalled roads, potholes are a major worry for the riders. With loose gravel, stones and rocks at every turn, it's going to be a long day, even for the top. Here in Morocco, the rally really starts for the privateers. Now it's just a struggle to survive and make it to Dakar. And without the help of fellow riders, far more would probably fall by the wayside. Palander's Oliver Seta had a dreadful day today, dropping down the order, losing a big slew of time. He hasn't really been on top form all rally, but today was certainly his lowest point yet. Esteve was able to ride the remainder of the stage pretty much at his own pace. He started 2 minutes behind Komar. Komar finished 1 minute and 58 seconds behind him. But for Komar, surviving this last tricky stage in Morocco was the real key. His lead remains intact. He's got a 10-minute advantage as they head towards Mauritania. Third on the stage, Cyril Desprez started the day in 6th position overall. Finishing third here has pushed him up to 4th place. But he didn't pull back much time on Komar. Spain's Jordi Villadons lost a lot of time yesterday, helping 2 crash riders. Today was a strong one though. He moved from 11th to 6th overall. Chris Blaze lost a close friend in Elmer Simmons yesterday, and he admits he took it a little easier than perhaps he would even normally have done. Several times on the stage, he says. Confirmation then of Esteve's win as he moves up closer to Mark Komar by 1 minute and 54 seconds. Desprez in third ahead of Villadons and Blaze. Chris Blaze still in 5th position. Mark Komar with a near 10-minute advantage. After yesterday's difficult marathon stage, said Komar, the pace was a little slower today, and that's got to be expected. Luckily, he didn't have any mechanical problems. Now we can go to Mauritania, where the race will be decided.
The
pace of 2007 Dakar is really fast. It's another tricky stage today, said Cyril Desbray. No huge difficulties, many little things to watch out for. It was quite slippery this morning. Nice warm-up in the mountains. Another day's gone, he said. Today I started 14th because of helping Alain Duclos yesterday after he fell. And in the first kilometres I struggled a bit with the dust, says Via Doms. Because the track was narrow, overtaking wasn't easy, I lost some time. But afterwards I managed to keep up a good pace and felt pretty good. Today was my best day since we passed the border, says Ruben Ferrier, but I had problems with the engine. I tried to repair it, but couldn't fix it. The end of the stage was very fast and really struggled to make it to the finish. The final day in Morocco for the car category, and as they headed down through the Atlas Mountains towards the sand dunes, a chance to get in some practice for the Sahara that lies ahead of them. Carlos Sainz is taking this rally by the scruff of the neck, the way he used to when he was competing in the World Rally Championship and winning multiple titles. It was his third stage win today. He continues to lead the overall classification. Today he opened another minute and 40 seconds on teammate Giniel de Villiers. Sainz never seems to take anything for granted. He's determined to exploit his Volkswagen's speed. Now he's got to trust in its reliability and try and avoid punctures, like Jean-Louis Schlesser here has just picked up. After struggling through Morocco, Stefan Peter-Hansel finally had a good day, finishing the 325-kilometre stage just 30 seconds slower than Sainz. The Frenchman moved up from 9th to 7th today, but he still trails Sainz by 24 minutes. He'll need some help from the dunes. There wasn't too much to choose between the fastest pair of race Tuaregs today, but South African Giniel de Villiers again trailed Carlos Sainz home. He still lies second overall, but yesterday's deficit to Sainz has grown from 2 to 3.5 minutes. Defending champion Luke Alphon's been having a tough time of it so far on the Dakar. Today he moved up from 5th to 4th in the overall standings, but he's 20 minutes behind the leader. A puncture and then a problem reattaching the bodywork added to his delays. Lying 4th this morning, Nani Roma's held on to his position as the best of the Mitsubishis. But Luke Alphon's only 4 minutes behind him, and Peter-Hansel a further 4 adrift. Another strong performance from Frenchman Gerlin Chicherit. The BMW driver really seems to be getting his teeth into the event, attacking with all the sort of verve you might expect from an extreme skiing champion. Portuguese Carlos Sousa still lies in 3rd place overall. But finishing 7th on today's special and losing 7 minutes to Sainz means he's now 11 behind at the foot of Volkswagen's top 3. And the Mitsubishis are raining down ground on him as well. Mark Miller slipped a further 7 minutes back today, still in 10th overall, but now 49 minutes behind the leader. Frenchman Benoit Rousselot is going to earn the nickname Mr. 9th Place. He's been at 9th on each of the 3 stages since the rally reached Morocco. His Nissan can't quite complete the symmetry in the overall standings yet. He's in 11th. From Mr. Ninth to Mr. Puncture. Hiroshi Masuoka is certainly having the main number of punctures in the Mitsubishi team. Today he picked up another 3 flat tyres, robbing him of any chance of challenging for the stage win. A shame, the Japanese former winner had started very quickly indeed and was hoping for a much better day. ...2006 FIA Cross Country World Cup champion Sergei Shmakov, 11th on the stage today in his buggy. And he not only beat yesterday's stage winner, but another former FIA Cross Country World Cup champion, Jean-Louis Schlesser. It was a rare stage win for a privateer yesterday, and today the buggy wasn't quite as much in his element. He was 13th, dropping from 7th to 9th in the ever-changing group behind the Volkswagens. SMG boss Philippe Gache managed to lose a wheel at the end of yesterday's special. Today he was 40th, losing another 40 minutes and dropping to 45th overall. And meanwhile, Carole Montier and co-driver Melanie Souchet worried about what's ahead in the dust cloud. And with good reason. Very dangerous, she says. Shall we get out? Okay, let's go. Looks like they're okay. After yesterday's engine problems hobbled him, Robbie Gordon was determined to try and exploit his Hummer's speed on today's fast sections. The American Monster is one of the quickest machines on the flat, but it needs to get by. And Gordon, in NASCAR bump drafting mode, was taking no prisoners. Portugal behind him, Carlos Sainz has been unbeatable in Morocco. Stefan Peter-Hansel having a good day today though. Perhaps a sign of changing fortunes at Mitsubishi, but Peter-Hansel is a long way down the order. Top Mitsu, currently Nani Roma, behind a Volkswagen 1-2-3.
Very, very narrow in the beginning in the mountain and very slow, you know, second gear, first gear, a lot of the places, so it was very, very tricky. We went very slowly in the beginning, and then at the end of the mountain we caught Jean-Louis, and I sat behind him for 100 kilometers in his dust, and he did not want to move over, so we just had to wait in his dust, you know, until he had a puncture, and then we could go fast, and otherwise we had no problem, we had no punctures or anything, so...
Tivemos furozito, mas nada.
Got a little puncture towards the end, said Carlos Sousa, but nothing really serious.
Termos chegado nesta posição.
At the start of today's stage, 74 of the 85 starters were still rolling in the truck category. After problems yesterday, Gerard de Roy came home in second place in his Ginaf, following Hans Stacey in the man. Stacey took control of the truck class. This is now the lead Kamaz of Ilsagar Vardayev, but he's an hour and a half behind the leaders. And the reason he's now the leader is that Vladimir Chagin, the truck class winner in 5 of the last 7 years, struck major dramas. Chagin's problems started just before the second checkpoint. A diesel feed problem took over 20 minutes to cure, and then he was trying to make up for lost time. That may explain what happened next. He rolled the Kamaz, and his co-driver Sergei Savastin was helicoptered into the bivouac. He wasn't badly injured, but nobody's taking any chances. The truck is wrecked, and Chagin's hopes of win number 6 are over. Tomorrow is the longest day of the 2007 Urmiliash Dakar. Over 400 kilometres before the start in Mauritania, and then they hit the dunes.